Coming today, I would like to give a brief update on a homicide that the Hamilton Police responded to on Sunday morning at approximately 4:35 a.m. in the area of Highway 6 in Flamborough, between concessions number 7 and number 8. The initial call came in as shooting at 2 different locations, but we've realized now through the investigation that the original disturbance started at a house party at a nearby short-term rental property. As a result of the disturbance that took place inside the home, the altercation carried out onto the roadway, resulting in shots being fired at a parked vehicle along the side of Highway 6, as well as shots being fired at another vehicle in a nearby gas station. In the parked vehicle, one male was found suffering from gunshot wounds. He was transported to local hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. That person has now been identified as 45-year-old Tobina Obiaga from Halton Region. Police additionally found 2 more victims in the vehicle in the parking lot at the gas station. 2 of those people received non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. They were treated at local hospital and later released. We are also aware of a 4th vehicle who went to the hospital for minor injuries that were not gunshot-related injuries. Witnesses that we've spoken to so far have described a vehicle as a dark gray sedan that fled the scene of the shooting at a high rate of speed. There's no other suspect description available at this time. We are aware that this was a large house party. Estimates have been between 60 and 100 people attended this party. A number of people were stopped by responding police officers, but we know there are several people that left prior to police arrival, and we are urging those people to come forward with any information that they have. We currently still have the crime scene held on Highway 6. The highway itself was closed for several hours, but was opened up Sunday afternoon. The house itself is still part of a crime scene, and we'll be executing search warrants on that property later today. Approximately 13 vehicles were also secured within the crime scene, and those will be part of our search later today as well. Short of that, if there's some questions that I can answer.
Any idea what started this whole thing, what the disturbance was about?
We do not know that. To be quite honest with you, we have lack of cooperation from a number of people. We're trying to encourage people to come forward and tell us. The best we know now is that there were a group of people inside the house that started a disturbance. That disturbance then carried back out down the laneway and onto the road.
So there was 60 or 100 people at this party, quite a bit. I wasn't here over the weekend, but you guys responded in the early hours, right, around 4:30 in the morning. What were those people's plans? You know, Flamborough is a pretty rural area. You had mentioned this is a short-term rental, say an Airbnb kind of thing. Were they planning to sleep there, all of them? What was the plan?
I don't know what each individual person's plan was, whether most were going to vacate during the morning hours. I do know that when the shooting occurred out on the roadway, many people fled through the woods behind the home, and we had to search that area with our K9 officer to look for more victims. Many people went down the roadway on foot and left the area through various means, and we're trying to track those people down still.
It is obviously a sprawling crime scene. What sort of challenges are you guys facing because the crime scene is so spread?
It was an extremely large crime scene, in fact, one of the largest ones I've had to deal with.
Yeah.
Our neighboring partners from the OPP and Halton Regional Police assisted us with some traffic enforcement and shutting down the highway. That was critical in allowing us to free up resources for the scene itself. We also had people responding to various hospitals and to homes to speak to people, so we were spread thin at one point. We had the majority of patrol officers working on this, and probably will be at the scene at least till tomorrow.
We've heard anecdotally from neighbors that property has long been a concern of the noise, parties, and the like. Were police aware of the property? Did you guys have responded in the past? I know this is a very serious incident. Maybe you responded in the past to a less serious incident, say a noise disturbance. But yeah, could you share the information and let you know about the property?
Yeah, I don't have any information right now about previous calls for police to that property. It's part of our investigation that we are looking into. Because the OPP do patrol the highway system through there would be potentially calls generated by both police services. So detectives in the homicide unit will be following up with that level of investigation later today.
In terms of the sequence of events, was there an actual crime committed at the house, can you say?
I would say yes, because it was an assault that occurred at the property and a disturbance involving at least 4 or 5 people. And then that continued down and onto the roadway as cars were starting to leave the party.
Okay. So that there was an assault on a woman in the house. Somebody, the homicide victim left in his car, and somebody caught up with him, shot him. And then that same person went to the gas station and shot the car there? Is that what you think?
So we don't know all of the details in between. So Mr. Obiaga was shot in his vehicle that was parked on the side of the roadway. So it is our belief or our understanding that he may have been trying to get in his vehicle to leave and go home. In terms of the house itself, we needed to do search warrants to get into the home. So those search warrants were just granted about an hour ago. So we'll be going up this afternoon to start searching the interior of the home to try to confirm whether, in fact, the shooting started in the home or if it was just the altercation in the home.
The three people who were injured, can you say where they're from?
From the Greater Toronto area, is the best I can say.
What do you know about the victim? You reached out to his family?
Yeah.
What details about them?
Yes, it took us some time to locate family. We spoke to them yesterday. He comes from a large, loving family, and they're completely shocked and distraught over this. This person has no involvement with the police before, and no one can understand or explain why something like this would happen to him.
How many guns were involved? Have you determined that?
I cannot determine that until some more forensic work is done. We do believe that the shooting that occurs with Mr. Obiaga's vehicle, that vehicle continued down the street and did the shooting at the gas station. So we're anticipating one vehicle of suspects on the roadway, but until we complete the crime scene and go further, we won't know if there's other guns involved.
Can you say how many suspects?
We do not have that information at this time.
What about the number of shots? Obviously, it's difficult to put a precise number on it, but roughly, we're talking over 1,000 shell casings found by the police.
I would not get involved in specifying the number of gunshot wounds, other than there was specific shooting at Mr. Obiaga's car, and then a separate later shooting, like a few seconds later, at the gas station. But in terms of the number of shots fired, all I'll say is that there was multiple shots fired at both locations.
So the people living along that stretch of road are pretty shaken up by this whole thing. Is there a reason for them to be concerned about this?
Well, I think we should all be concerned when we have a shooting and a homicide in our jurisdiction. This is in their backyard, and they're living with this now, and they're living with the fear of what happened. We do believe that the shooting itself was targeted at the people that were being shot at. Whether Mr. Obiaga was the intended victim or a misidentification, we're still looking into. But I feel confident that the shooting at the car and the shooting at the gas station were intended to be shot at those vehicles.
You mentioned earlier about an assault. Is it believed that the victim was involved in the assault, and that's kind of what led to this altercation that seeped outside?
We have no information that he was involved in any of the altercation inside.
The owner of the house, is he cooperating with, or are they, I don't know, that or home, are they cooperating with folks?
Yes, they are.
What's going to happen with that house? Is it, what was it rented on? Was it rented on Airbnb, or what have you learned about it?
So I will not speak to the nature of the rental, other than it was a private rental. It was not through one of the organized rental apps. Okay, so we are going to head out to the scene and continue our investigation there, and hopefully we'll have a better update in the days coming forward.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.